He's Marlar, and this is his music show.
Hello again, everybody. Welcome to another craptastic episode of the Marlar Music Show. I am David. Hope everyone is doing very well out there today, no matter where you are and what you're doing. So today, as a lot of you know, we're going to be talking about Paul Stanley and his health issues he's had this past week. It came out Wednesday, I believe, that they were canceling a couple of shows in Canada on the last two shows that they were doing up in Canada on the end of the road tour. It came out that he had the flu. There was a picture on Twitter of him, and I don't know if it was a hospital bed, but he was in bed somewhere, getting IV fluid, trying to get straightened back up. And they ended up actually canceling a third show, and that was Knoxville, a show that I had actually considered going to. I kind of put it off, and then decided it wasn't going to be feasible. And actually, I'm glad now that I didn't buy tickets, because I'd have gotten all excited about seeing them again and been disappointed. So that kind of worked out for me. I do feel sorry for the people in Knoxville, however, because they had not played there since, I believe, the World Domination Tour in 2003. And everybody's not as fortunate as I've been in my life to be able to travel to see not only Kiss, but several other bands. A lot of people don't have a chance to see a band unless they come to their town, and I'm sure that was a situation for a lot of the people in Knoxville on Friday. And I feel for you guys, I do, because that actually happened to me one time. This is different because, if what they're saying is true, there's not going to be another chance ever. That was it, right? In '92 on the Revenge tour, I had seventh row tickets for it in Memphis, and they canceled a few hours beforehand. Kind of the same situation. Paul had gotten sick, couldn't perform, and they canceled their set. They went ahead and let Great White and Trickster play, and we ended up going just to ask them to do it. We were already primed to go. I was getting dressed and getting ready when I found out about this. And needless to say, I was devastated. I've been looking forward to that show for a long time. Revenge, my favorite album of theirs ever. And I've been looking forward to that show, and they played a lot of great songs in that set list, yada, yada, yada. So yeah, it kind of sucked for me. I didn't listen to them for quite a while, but I got over it and whatever, but I can semi-relate. At least that would have been my fourth time to see the band. I've seen them 31 times, so I've had plenty of chances to make up for it. These people in Canada, in Knoxville this past week, that's it for them. If what the band is saying holds true, and this is the end, then they have no more chances. And I really, really feel for those people like that. But it's all about Paul's health. I know they've got this end goal in mind, trying to get to next weekend for these final shows in New York. The second of which is going to be on pay-per-view. So it's one of those situations where they've kind of got to put, the only way that they could have rescheduled these other shows would have been to push everything back. And I think that might have been a logistical nightmare in a lot of ways. They're playing at the Garden, and I know the Garden, the Knicks play there. I think one of the hockey teams up there plays there. So it could have been real taxing trying to get that rescheduled, and so it was probably just best. Unfortunately, it was best for them to do it this way. And so the pay-per-view, I'm debating on getting this. It's $40, or probably about $50 after fees and all that. Maybe, I don't know. I'm almost to the point of saying no and figuring that I'll be able to find it somewhere not long after that. So I'm probably not going to do that. But it would be kind of interesting to watch it live and see it as it was happening. But anyway, I didn't do the Dubai one either in 2020. I found it fairly shortly afterwards and been able to watch it. So that's enough for me. But anyway, the main thing I want to talk about here with all this is, there have been a lot of rumblings ever since they announced this tour, wow, about 5 years ago now. I think they announced it in the late 18. Here we are 5 years later, and we're coming into the last week of it. But there have been a lot of rumblings since then of, is this truly going to be it? Is this really their end? Are they truly going to stop after this? And I've said, clearly they're done with putting out albums. They haven't put out an album in 11 years, 11 plus years. As far as major tours, I think that's it. I really think that's it. And Paul and Gene even deny any kind of Vegas residency again or whatever. There's still a possibility of maybe doing some one-off stuff. Maybe, I don't know what the occasion would be or whatever. But yeah, I think this is the end. And I think this week with Paul's health issues has proved that even more, because the man's 70, if I'm not mistaken, he's like 71, 72 years old. He's no spring chicken, obviously. What they do on a nightly basis is a lot more taxing than what most other bands do. Musically, physically certain playing the music, maybe not as much. The music's not as intricate or whatever, say like Tool or Metallica or whatever, but putting on that costume, all the weight that bears, the lights, the fire, all the stuff that it takes to go through that show. I won't say night in, night out, but 3-4 nights a week for months on end, weeks on end. That takes a toll on you, even when you're not in your early to mid 70s like these guys are, or like Gene and Paul are. And having said that too, when you get something like the flu, the older you get, the longer it takes your body to adjust to it and get all that stuff out of your body and get better. I'm 51 years old, and I had the flu a while back, and it was about a week and a half before I started feeling better. Now, having said that, they've got special doctors that go on the road with them, and they have access to certain kind of medical stuff that we don't have. I get that. But even still, you reach a certain age, and even with that, it's going to take longer than it would somebody else. And that's kind of my point, is it's one of those situations where, if they were a little bit younger, then, it might have only had to cancel 1, maybe 2 shows instead of 3. But having to cancel 3 shows in a row is not a good indicator, or doesn't bode well for the possibility of, they're going to go back on tour again. I don't think so, guys. I also heard, supposedly, there's been conflicting reports about what he had. I've heard he had the flu. I heard also that it was COVID. Don't know which one it was. Doesn't matter, either one at that age is not good. Regardless of the fact, I don't think that this is going to give them any inclination or any positive reinforcement that, hey, we're going to go back out on tour, especially for anything massive, for anything that's not, a one-off or, special events or whatever. That's just not happening anymore, because they've reached the age, Paul and Gene both, Gene had COVID a couple years ago, I think. He had like kidney stone issues. He had, they're just getting older, and they can't do this the way they used to. So I don't think that, I think this is truly it. I think this last week is going to be the last we're going to see of the touring Kiss. I think they've got a lot of stuff out there that they could, put out for us. They've got more anniversary editions of albums they could do. You've got 30 and 40 anniversary editions coming up of stuff. There's a couple I think they kind of missed the boat on. When I'm talking about like a reissue of, I'm not talking about a reissue of vinyl like they did with Psycho Circus and Lick It Up or Revenge. I'm talking about, and I think a Live 3. I'm talking about something like on Creatures of the Night, Destroyer, that level. There's rumors flying about a 50th anniversary edition of their first album. I haven't seen anything official about that, but they've got a lot of stuff like that they could do. They've got a lot of off the soundboard stuff they could still do. They could still do some, early makeup stuff off the soundboard. There's some 80s eras I'd like to see some off the soundboard stuff for. One tour in particular would be the Hot in the Shade tour. I think would be great. I think they should do a revenge one because Alive 3 was not a full show off that tour. So there's a lot of stuff they can do, a lot of things that they can still stay busy on, and scratch that itch kind of. I know there's probably nothing that will scratch the itch, nothing like getting out on stage for the fans and doing all that, but there's a lot that they can do to stay active, and I think they probably will. And I'm looking forward to what lies ahead in those type of things, if anything. Hopefully there'll be quite a bit, but we'll see. We'll see. It's who knows, man. There's a lot of speculations, but only they know what's going to happen. And I'll just say that, if I've seen him for the last time, I've seen him for the last time. I was very fortunate to see him as many times as I did. Like I said, the pay-per-view thing, probably something I'm not going to do. I'll just wait for it to be out there in some other form. But yeah, I think this is it. I really do. I've had my doubts, and I still kind of do. But this past week has kind of solidified for me the fact that they're probably not going to continue touring any further. It just doesn't seem like the right thing to do for them. So we'll see what happens, guys. We'll see. Anyway, I just want to give my quick take on that and the whole Paul thing. I hope and pray he's feeling a lot better. He can keep his stamina up and keep his health going so that they can have a successful last week here and round things out the way they're supposed to. One other thing I want to mention was I'm wondering, and there's been a lot of speculation on this too, if they're going to change the set list any for these last couple shows or last show, or if they're going to maybe add some songs in there. I think especially maybe for the last show, they probably should change a little bit and add, a few more songs, make it a 23, 24 song set list. I think they could do it, especially if it's your last show you're ever going to play, right? But we'll see. For me, they can play 40 songs and barely hit, what I wanted to hear, what I want to hear from them. And then there's the Ace and Peter speculation about, well, they're not coming, and it's been made official they're not coming. And I still say that and I don't think it's going to happen, but there's an outside chance that was all like, we'll just throw the wool over everybody's eyes and we'll bring them out or whatever. We'll see. I'm probably going to sometime afterwards do a review of that last show from just different, if I watch it or whatever, even if I don't, what I'm either able to gather, and just kind of see what y'all think about it. But anyway, I've taken up enough time for this episode talking about this, so I'm going to sign off. And until the next episode, when I see you guys, I will tell you as I always do, be good to each other, be good to yourselves, and life will be good to you. Peace.